Hello everybody and welcome back to Screen Stars and welcome to another of my top 10 lists. Now you will have noticed a few weeks ago I did a top 10 list of what I would say are the top male action film stars out there. Now I thought I would do something very similar, and I would do my top 10 favourite female action stars. And these are badass women have churned out quite a few very well received action films and some that weren't that well received, but I think that have garnered an image of some pretty badass women and have portrayed some really strong female characters on screen and kicked a lot of ass. So this is my top 10 list of what I would say are the top female action stars out there, past and present, but quite a lot of them are still acting today, so I hope you enjoy the list. Now, as always, there are some that just don't quite make the list, and I've got three examples here. And the first one is Rebecca Ferguson, who is generating quite a good name for herself in doing quite a few action flicks, primarily the Mission Impossible films, but she's done like the sci-fi film Life as well, so she's starting to make her name herself in the action genre. I think Gal Gadot is doing a fantastic job with her Wonder Woman performances. And she's done a couple of other things as well, but it's primarily Wonder Woman. I think in maybe 5 years' time she would be definitely starting to make a list like this. And Linda Hamilton, who essentially has only really done one massive action role, however it was iconic, and that is of course Sarah Connor in the Terminator films, and primarily Terminator 2, where she actually kind of became the Terminator herself. So these three just didn't quite make the list. But coming in at number 10, I have put Halle Berry. Now, Halle Berry has been a mainstay in the X-Men franchise for many years, and you could describe them as certainly action films, and she's always held up well on screen in those performances. But she's done other things as well. She did the film Swordfish. She was pretty badass in that, and of course, who can forget her recent turn in the John Wick film. She was absolutely brilliant in that, and that sequence with John Wick and the dogs was just mind-blowingly good, and it shows she can still kick ass these days. We won't talk about Catwoman. Coming in at number 9, I think B-movie action fans from the 80s/90s will certainly recognise this name, Cynthia Rothrock. She was a mainstay of the direct-to-video DVD movies that came out in that era. Generally speaking, she was in so many of them, she just has to make this list. She was absolutely badass, a real martial arts star, and definitely deserves to be here. Number 8, Kate Beckinsale. Now, primarily on this list for her Underworld movies, she was completely and utterly beautiful in those films, but completely badass as well, where she plays this female vampire hunter that hunts down and kills those that oppose her clan, I suppose you could say. I mean, very iconic films for the most part, and she played the role perfectly and proved that she could deliver an action. She's done other things as well, primarily Total Recall and things like that, but I think everybody will primarily remember for the Underworld films, and she delivered a very believable action orientated performance in those films. Number 7, Michelle Rodriguez. Probably the hardest woman on this list, give or take. I mean, she just wouldn't mess about and probably would beat up most people. She just looks rock hard, and she's been in some really iconic action films, the Fast and the Furious films. She's been in Machete, she's been in Avatar, SWAT, you name it. She's made an appearance in so many action franchises. She's never really made it as an A-list name, but she's proper badass, and she has done so many iconic TV and movie roles. She was in Lost as well, where she played a really badass character. Very deserving of the list. Number 6, Milla Jovovich. Made her name in The Fifth Element, of course, as Lilo, and she was really fantastic in that, but has primarily made her name in the Resident Evil movies, and think of what you will of those movies, and I don't hold them in a particular high regard, but she's been the face of that franchise for many years, and it has its fan base, and it does well every time they release a film. It can't be denied, even though you might not enjoy the quality of them. So she's appeared in many an action film over the year, and she is very deserving to be on a list like this. Has delivered all the time. Number 5, Zoe Saldana. Now, she is probably the Samuel L. Jackson of blockbuster movies. She's been in so many, just you can line them up and knock them down. She's been in the Marvel films, obviously, as Gamora, kicks ass. She was in the Avatar film, kicked ass. She's in the Star Trek films, she kicks ass. She's been in the Losers film, brilliant. Colombiana. She's done so many action films. She's really made a name for herself in that genre, and very deserving to be in the list. And she genuinely looks badass when she does these movies. Number 4, Scarlett Johansson. Wow, what can you say? Absolutely stunning, of course she is, and she does badass movies. I mean, when she first turned up as Black Widow in Iron Man 2, she just, you couldn't take her eyes off her on the screen. She was absolutely fantastic, and she's just grown and developed that role over the years, made it her own. She's got her own Black Widow film coming out, but of course she's done films like Lucy and Ghost in the Shell that have also added to her performance in regards to the action genre. Despite how they may have been received, her performance and her action performance in those films can't be denied. Number 3, the iconic Sigourney Weaver. Now, if you actually analyse her career, she's not done a huge amount of what you could describe these days as action films, but she's always played very powerful women, very strong women. Right from her Galaxy Quest film, she was just fantastic in that film. The Ghostbusters films, very strong female character, but of course she's on this list primarily for her iconic performances as Ripley in Alien, particularly Aliens, a true action masterpiece, that film, and beyond. Very deserving to be so high on the list. Number 2, I really struggle between number 2 and number 1, and depending on the day I think about this, it swaps over, so take this with a little bit of pinch of salt with number 1, because Angelina Jolie is undeniably a legend in the action movies. Obviously her Tomb Raider film, she made 2 of them, might not be top quality, but they're loads of fun, a lot of people's guilty pleasure. She's done films like Wanted, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, the list goes on and on. She's kind of taken her foot off the gas in the last few years in regards to action films. I think it's fair to say she's slowing down on them, but she has delivered some top quality ones. Number 1, I'm putting Charlize Theron there. Powerhouse. Not only as an actress, she obviously won the Oscar for Monster, which you could argue was an incredibly strong female character. But her performances in things like Mad Max Fury Road, Atomic Blonde, and beyond. And there's another Atomic Blonde coming out. She just delivers, and her performances are very strong. She plays quite vulnerable action star heroes as well, which I really like and relate to, and I think right now she's the number 1 female action star in the world. So there you go, that is my top 10 list of who I think are the top female action stars. I'm tempted to say of all time, but I'm sure there is quite a few I've missed. I would love to know in the comments, guys, is there anybody that you think I've missed? I'm sure there is. There is so many to take into consideration. It's hard to get a top 10 list and to narrow it down, but I think I've done a pretty good job there. I think there's some pretty iconic female action heroes, stars in that list there. But please let me know if I've missed any. Coming up, my next top 10 list is going to be a horror one leading up to Halloween. And I've got some classic horror film reviews coming up as well leading up to Halloween. So thanks for sticking with the channel, thanks for watching, and of course leave me some comments for any ideas for top 10 lists, and I will definitely consider them. So thank you very much everybody, I'll see you next time on Screen Style.